Hey everybody, welcome back to Card Curiosity, where we try to find the best possible ways to make a good return on your investment in the sports card world. And today we have a new episode of Rip It or Skip It. We are going to break down 2025-2026 Topps basketball. This is super exciting because Topps finally has the licenses. If you've been ripping Topps baseball products, you're going to start seeing, I think, a whole lot of basketball that looks very similar in terms of consistency and things like that. So Topps has the pre-order today. I'm recording this just before the pre-order drops on October 3rd at 12 p.m. And here's Cooper Flag's very first autograph. And so, yeah, we just essentially, we want to dig in a little bit and find out if this is going to be worth our money or not. If you remember, we have kind of a four-part criteria where we analyze each product that gets released here. First thing we look at is the price. We want to make sure that we can get these boxes at a reasonable cost. Two, we look at the checklist and make sure that there's players in there that we can actually hit and want to find and hopefully are valuable. Number three, we look at the grading potential, because that's one of the best ways to make your money back here with sports cards is by grading, sending them to PSA and getting back some gem mint 10s. And then finally, we look at the desirability to make sure that the cards that we get out of here are actually going to be ones that people want, at least initially, and hopefully long-term as well. So there we have it. Let's first take a look here at the product. If you check the Topps website, you can kind of get an idea of what things are going to look like, different kinds of parallels, autographs. Victor Wembanyama's first autograph in the Spurs jersey. Of course, he had unlicensed autographs from Topps his rookie season, but now we get to see him with the Spurs logo. That's what's going to be new here kind of going forward, and will be really, really nice. You can see some of the different things here. You get a real one autograph, which is going to be just on the card right there. That's going to be awesome. You're going to have these kind of insert autographs as well. So here's one with Cooper Flag. You're going to have relics, game-used relics. You're going to have the player number variation where they put, okay, Brunson's number 11. They're going to put that on the background. Those are going to be pretty sought after. And they're numbered to 11 because that's his jersey number. And let's see what else. You got inserts like All Kings, which the LeBron one of these is going to be insane because he's King James, of course. Other inserts, things like that. So that's kind of what it looks like. As far as the price goes, Topps just kind of released on Twitter here what their pricing would be. So they're going to have hobby boxes available that do not guarantee an autograph. You get an autograph or a relic. Those are $110. That's honestly quite a bit lower than what I was expecting, and it's just barely above the cost of the baseball boxes. I think baseball was around $90, so I thought these could have been $150 or more. So the price looks pretty good there. The jumbos, this is where we personally will probably invest the most of our money because you get one guaranteed autograph, and we are really looking for Cooper Flag, of course. Those are going to be at $230, and I thought these could have been north of $350 to $400. So Topps, for their very first release with basketball, seems to be keeping the prices low, and this is going to be printed to the moon. There's going to be tons of this stuff out there, blasters, hangers. I'm sure everywhere you look, you'll be able to find it. But I think boxes like this with the guaranteed autographs, I think these prices will go up. I think we could see these hit $400 or $500 a box. We'll see. The big question is going to be, okay, you get one autograph. How many numbered cards are we going to get? Is it 1, 2, 5? If these come with 5 numbered cards and one autograph, then I would say this is a very, very solid price at $230. So I'm going to give the price score a 4 out of 5 for now, just because I think everyone was expecting it to be more, and it is not. From a price standpoint, if we compare it to like a Donruss, this is essentially the same product. Topps basketball is the same as Donruss. They're paper cards. They're very basic, and it's kind of the first release of the year. And so, Donruss for last year's at $225 here from David Adams. And so it's not too far away. This is kind of what you should be paying for paper cards, right? Next, let's move on to the checklist. We'll look at Beckett here. Beckett always kind of breaks down the checklist. You're going to see a lot of the same cards that we were shown on the Topps website here as we scroll down. But the key here, check out this triple autograph with some of the rookies. That's fantastic. Dual rookie photo shoot autographs and triples. So some really cool cards you can find here. Let's see, get to the, here we go. Base checklist, 300 cards. So in the baseball world, 300 cards, 300 players is a huge amount because there's a ton of baseball players that are just no names and not going to be worth anything. Basketball, 300 cards doesn't seem like as big of a deal because you have just a ton of names of players that will sell pretty well, or at least people know. Like, people seem to know more basketball players than they know baseball players. And so you can find a decent amount of guys that will sell at least a little bit. And then, of course, they're going to have all the rookies and stuff here. If we scroll down to the bottom, you'll start to see some of these rookies. And, of course, Cooper Flagg being one of the main ones. They got combo cards and all kinds of stuff. But the big things we want to look at here is the autographs. And what you'll see is they got tons of different kinds of autographs. They got flagship real ones. And you know, look at some of the names here. Allen Iverson, that'd be cool. Holmgren, Brandon Miller, even though these are year 2 or 3 for some of these guys, like, they're still decent names. Jalen Brunson, LeBron, Magic Johnson. So, like, 42 real one autos, okay? Next they have the 1980 autos. 44 here, again, a lot of names that we recognize that we wouldn't be too upset about to get, right? You know, we know what we're shooting for, and with Cooper Flagg, that's obviously what everybody wants. But even if you don't, you can get Shaq for this one. Veteran autographs, they've got guys that are still playing in the league and aren't rookies. Okay, so good chance to get some names there. Marks of excellence. I don't know what those look like, but you know, you got different guys in here. Vince Carter, that'd be cool. Contemporary marks, Havoc marks, top-notch signature, like. Okay, just tons. New applicants, that's got to be rookies, right? Cooper Flagg's on here. And so there's going to be, I mean, just tons of variations of autographs, which I don't love, but at least each autograph list is only, 40 names, 50 names, and that means you're not going to pull the, in baseball terms, you'd get a rookie autograph of a pitcher that threw 1 inning last year that nobody's ever heard of. He's not even in the league anymore. These are at least people, for the most part, that you would recognize, or a lot of people would recognize. And so I do like that better. So checklist-wise, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I wish the base checklist was, instead of 300 players, down to 200. And, if they could have had a smaller list of autographs, that would have been a little bit better. But 3 out of 5 is not too bad here for an NBA product. And so that's where we'll land on the checklist. So next, let's look at the gradability. And so we're at gem rate here to kind of check. We don't have last year's version of this with Topps just because Topps hasn't had the license. So let's look at baseball. This is going to be essentially the same thing, I guess. And one thing to notice is that, like, the gem rate overall for baseball is pretty low. Topps now doesn't that doesn't count because Topps make those, but like 40%, 12%, 50%, 37%. The gem rates are down. Like, Topps has been making junk in terms of quality, which is no good. And so, like, this would be what we'd compare it to. Topps baseball right here, 19% gem rate. Do not expect to get good grades out of here. Now, if you pull cards and it's a good player like Cooper Flagg, even a base card, and it looks like it can gem, you probably should send it in, because the quicker you get that back and sell it, like, people are going to want Cooper Flagg PSA 10s. But just don't expect these cards to grade well. You're really going to have to do some homework to try and figure it out. So gradability, I'm just going to give this a 1. It's going to be, you could rip a whole box, jumbo box, get 300 cards and have 1 that might actually qualify to grade, because the quality, you just don't want to expect it to be very good. So 1 out of 5 on the gradability. And then finally, we'll look at the desirability, and I'm gonna look at this in 2 ways. So let's look at Wemby's. Like, the equivalent card here would be just a Donruss base paper card. So if we look at Wemby, this is a couple years after his rookie year. We're sitting right around $50 for one of his base cards, and so, like, Cooper Flagg would be essentially Wemby of this year, and initially, at least, if you get a PSA 10, that thing will sell for a decent amount of money. If we look at Wemby, like his very first sale was 218, right? Then it jumped to 350, 300 almost, and then you can see as more and more PSA 10s come out, the price is going to drop. And so the name of the game here is to find a card that you can grade, send it in, sell it as fast as you can. But then after a year or two, where will this card sit? Will people still like it, want it? Probably not as much as some others, but it'll be iconic because this is Topps' first run at basketball in many years with the licenses, and you're going to have a player like a Cooper Flagg. It's his first card and first rookie card officially with licenses, and so I do think there will be some demand long term, not as much maybe as some of the others, but it'll be an iconic card, and I'm going to give the desirability a 4 out of 5 here for the right player. And you also forgot to mention you're going to have a lot of different kind of short prints and stuff here. They're going to do golden mirrors, just like with baseball, which are highly short printed. They're going to have image variations, and so like this could end up being a little more desirable than I think the Donruss cards would be, just because you have some nice variations in there as Topps tries to kind of integrate what they've done with baseball over into the basketball side. So you add up all the scores. We got a 4 for price, 3 for checklist, 1 for grading potential, 4 for desirability. That's going to get us to a 12 out of 20. And I'm going to say if you can get boxes of this, the jumbos for $230, I'm going to give it a rip stamp just because the price is really nice. You just got to go in with some expectations. You're going to get a lot of cards. You're not going to get probably an autograph that is crazy valuable, but you could. You just don't know. And with the price point being where it is, if you can find it for $230, I think it's worth ripping a box or two, have some fun, and maybe you hit something big. So that's where we stand. We're going to try to order quite a few of these. If you happen to not make the pre-order and these sell out super fast and you need a box, feel free to shoot us a message and we will try to hook up a couple people if we can. Again, I assume I'll be able to grab some, but I do think these will sell out pretty fast. So hope you enjoy this. Until next time, stay curious.